Hello my beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Esther and this is C-Style. You're welcome to C-Style. Today's tutorial I'm going to be showing us how to cut and sew this beautiful kaftan. Let's call it back wing kaftan with plain design in front and on the down. The slit at the front, at the hemline in front. So guys, if this is your first time of stopping by or seeing this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment on the comment section and give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about this tutorial. So let's go straight to the cutting table. So guys, I'm going to be using this paper to illustrate it. So I've gone ahead to fold my papers into four. It's 2 blocks. I folded them into two. This is the first one folded into 2 and this is the second one folded into 2. So I'll be using one to serve as the front because this is will be having a zipper. So when you're drafting the front, I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder line. My shoulder line is 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So go ahead and mark it just like I'm doing here, like this. Then on that point, on your shoulder, the shoulder length, you determine where you want your sleeve to be. So mine it will be 10 inches. So go ahead and mark 8.5 inches. I'll be using black to complete it. I'll be using 2 inches black to complete it. So I'll go ahead and mark the 8.5 inches, and then from that 8.5 inches I'll go down with 1.5 inches for my shoulder slope. Then the neck width is 3 inches. Then the neck depth for the front I'll be using 6 inches, while for the back I'll be using 1 inches. So you go ahead and mark your points in neck depth like this, and then I will go ahead and connect it to the neck depth for the back. Then I will use my ruler to connect the V. Remember the front is a V. I will use my ruler to connect the V from my neck width to the neck depth for the front. Then connect from my neck width to my shoulder slope. This is 1.5 inches shoulder slope that I will mark down on my shoulder, on my sleeve length. I'll go ahead and connect it like this to my shoulder, to my neck width. Now the next thing to do, this bubu kaftan or the bat wing will stop at the waistline. It will stop at the waistline. So I'll go ahead and mark from my shoulder line to my waistline. My waistline from the shoulder to the waist point is 18 inches. I'll go ahead and mark it like that. Then whatever I got from my starting point to my sleeve length, I will also mark it on the waistline just like I'm doing like this. I'll go ahead and mark it like this. Then I'll use my ruler to connect it. The reason why I'm doing like this is because I just want to have a straight line on this area. I'll use my ruler to connect it like this. Now I will go ahead and mark from my shoulder line to my hip. My shoulder to my hip is 27, so I'll go ahead and mark the point there. Then on that point I'll go ahead and input my hip circumference. My hip circumference is 53 divided by 4, and then I will add 2 inches allowance. Whatever I get on my hip, I will input it on my hemline as well, like this. Then I'll go ahead and connect it, the hemline to the hip, using my straight ruler just like I'm doing. Then on my waistline, I'll go ahead and measure my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 47 divided by 4 plus 2 inches allowance. I will mark it like this. Though this outfit is fitted, so the allowance will not be that 2 inches like that. I'll be using 1.5 inches. So then I'll connect it just like I'm doing. Can we see? I'll connect it like this. From the shoulder line, I blended it to the waistline and connected it to my hip, just like I'm doing. Just watch what I'm doing. Connect it like this, connect it like this, connect it like this up to the shoulder line. Like this. This is the shape that you should have. Then from the shoulder slope, I will measure my armhole circumference. My armhole round is 17 inches divided by 2 is 8.5. Then I will add 1 inch for seam allowance, that is 9.5. So I'll go ahead and mark my 9.5. That is for my sleeve opening. Then you can go ahead and notch it. When you cut it out, you go ahead and notch it. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. When you are cutting it on your fabric, make sure you add your 1/2 inch allowance for join the shoulder for the back and front together. Like this. Then the sleeve opening, you go ahead and notch it. Go ahead and notch it out like this. Now I will place it on my back pattern and cut it out, leaving 1 inch or 1.5 inch seam allowance. It depends on what you want for your seam allowance, for your zipper allowance. Mine, I'll be using 1 inch. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. The difference between the front and back is just the zipper allowance and the neckline. That is just the difference between the front and back. Every other part is the same. Cut out the neckline for the back like this. Then I will split the back open. The zipper line, I will split it open. And it should be having something like this. Now I'll go ahead and cut out the neckline for my front. My V shape, I'll cut it out. You should be having something like this. If you place it together, this is what you should be having. See the V, you go ahead and cut a facing for both the front and back. Cut a facing for them, or if you want to bias it, you go ahead and bias it, but I will advise you cutting a facing. Facing gives you a clean work, neat and professional work. So now coming to the front again, the down part, from the hemline, I will go up with 18 inches. I will go up with 18 inches, and remember my front is still on fold. 18 inches, then I will mark 1.5 inches in. From that 18 inches, I mark 1.5 inches on that 18 inches, and then on the hemline, then I'll go ahead and connect it like this, together like this, with a straight line. Then you cut it out. and this is what you should be having. So this is what you should be having. When you open it up, the gap is 3 inches. Remember, on fold is 1.5 inches. When open is 3 inches. Now you pick another piece of paper like this, or a plain fabric. Let's assume that we are using fabric for this. So you pick the plain that you want to use for the design. You fold it into 4. Fold it into 2 and fold it into 4 again. Then you go ahead and mark. You remember we went up from the hemline of the main fabric with 18 inches. So you mark this one 20 inches to be on the safer side. I'll mark 20 inches the length, then the width. The reason why I say you should fold it into 4 because you'll be having a facing. One side will serve as the facing. So I'll go ahead and mark it like this, 20 inches. Then you mark, remember the opening is 3 inches open, so you'll be marking 4 inches. You mark 4 inches, half inch for allowance. That's to say on fold you'll be marking 2 inches. When you open it up, it will be 4 inches. The half inch allowance to join it. And this is what you should be having. This is what you should be having. So what we're going to do now is to let me open this. This place is still on fold, so that I will separate. I will have both the lining and the main fabric together. Now you open it up like this and slit the center, but before you slit it, you are going to be marking this. Let's say you want to join it separately, you cut one piece and for one side and another piece for one side, and attach it like this. When you turn it, it will kind of overlap on the upper part. I don't want it to overlap up there. So what I will do now is that this one that I have cut, I will slit it. I will mark from the up this let's say the length is 18, isn't it? So from that 18 you come down with 3 inches. You come down with 3 inches, then you cut it. That is to say the 20 inches here that we have for the facing, I will come down with 5 inches. Then I slit, open it, cut it up to that 5 inches and stop there. Then you take it to your machine and put them wrong side to wrong side, and you go ahead and use half inch of allowance to sew it, the opening, that opening that you slit open, that's this slit. You go ahead and use half inch to sew it round. Let me use my pen so that it will be obvious and more understandable. So this is how you sew it. Can we see? You sew it like this with half of an inch. Sew it, and then let me pin it up. Even though the pin, when I pin it, I was unable to turn it. but I'm trying to pin it. So if you take it to your machine, you sew it like this, then when you sew it, you notch it. I was trying to turn it without notching it before. So you notch it, that end, the angles, you notch it. You have, when you notch it, you have something like a triangle there. That's what you should have. You notch it so that you'll be able to turn it easily. Notch it very close to the stitches, but don't cut the stitches. Can we see what you should have when you notch it? That's little triangular shape around that area. That way you'll be able to turn it easily. So let me just take the pin out, then I'll use one. Let's assume that one is we've turned it. So when you turn it, let's say I've used the facing to turn it, you should be having something like this. You should have something like this. Then you go ahead and attach it using 1/2 inch to attach it. When you attach it, then you turn. When you're attaching it, you place the right side to right side there and attach it. Then you flip. When you attach it, you turn it to the other side as well, to the wrong side. You also notch the angle of the main fabric when turning it. Then you attach it to your hemline. I'm very sorry guys, this place I think I should have show us a practical way of attaching it to this part, but I hope we will understand how to go about it. If you know how to sew all this V neckline, I don't know what they call it, all this neckline, V shaped neckline that has overlap, you can be able to attach this one. So let me pin it down. This is what you should have with the plain material and the slit. Now coming to the upper part, the shape on the upper part, you can cut 2 circles separately and overlap them when you're attaching it, but I just cut my own circles together, cut them like this. I mark them like this on my fabric, then I'll go ahead and cut the shape out. Use my iron, my hot iron, to turn the rough edges, and you attach it to your front for the design for the upper part. This particular style, you can use any shape of your choice, but I just wanted to follow the exact what is on the style that my client chose. So there, let's say this is your plain fabric. You attach it like this. So guys, this is the style, and the main style, the original style, which is style that we're copying, this is what it's looking like. So you can see the back wing is not that obvious, and it's top on the hip, so that particular part was free. Now this is what you do: place it together And when you are joining it, you make sure that you attach your zip to the back. If you use your facing to turn it and attach your zipper, then you join it on the shoulder line. Join it on the shoulder line, and then remember there's plain also on the sleeve. The 2 inches that I took out, my sleeve was 10 inches, but I use 8.5 inches. Now I'll be completing it with the plain fabric as well on the hem of the sleeve. You join it on the shoulder line, then you pick your plain, you fold your plain into 2, iron it, and then you attach it from one notch to another. Remember the notch that we marked? You attach it from one notch to another. That is your round sleeve circumference. You attach it there. Let me pin it together. You sew it up like this. Let's say you sew it like this. Then you attach the plain from one notch to another, like so. This is what you should be having. Then you sew it with 1/2 inch like this. 1/2 inch, you use 1/2 inch to sew it like this up to the hemline. Up to the hemline. Do the same thing with the other side. Do the same thing with the other side, like this. Then you close it as well up to the end. So this is what you should be having. Now coming to the upper part, we have to shape it. You know, we did not take our bust measurement, so we want that part to also be fitted, the bust. So you turn it to the right side, and then from the center you take from your shoulder line to your bust point, and then from the center you mark 1/4 of your bust measurement on one side and also 1/4 of your bust measurement on the other side. Then coming to the waist area, also from the center you mark 1/4 of your waist measurement on one side and also 1/4 of your waist measurement on the other side. What I mean by 1/4 of your waist measurement is you divide your waist by 4. Let's say my waist by 4 is 5 inches. Let's say my waist is 20 and you divide by 4 is 5 inches. You put 5 inches from the center on one side and also 5 inches from the center on the other side. Then you connect it from your bust point to your waist and blend it to the hip. The hip measurement is exactly, so it's perfect. You blend it to the hip like this. You can see that the back wing will show on the hip a little. We reach the hip line a little when you shape it this way. Now you go ahead and top stitch it on the right side, just like the way you sew bat wing or butterfly gown. You top stitch it to the waist, to the hip line, and this is how my own is looking like. Can we see? This is how my own came out. It's looking beautiful. This is the design. You can make it bigger, and you can go ahead and use stones to embellish the design, or you can leave it like that. I'm not stoning my own. I want it to be plain like that. So this is where I stitch the bust measurement. I stitch and I blended it to the hip. You can see that the bat wing is touches the hip a little. So this brings us to the end of our tutorial, guys. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. And please, if you've not subscribed, don't forget to do so. Hit on the subscribe button and click on the subscribe button and hit on the bell icon to get notified whenever I drop a new video. Give this video a thumbs up if it's something you find interesting, and leave a comment on the comment section. Let me know what you think about my tutorial. Thank you so much, guys, and don't forget to share with your family and friends. Thank you for watching. This brings us to the end of our tutorial. Thank you so much. God bless you wherever you're watching me from. God bless your nations. Let's stay safe and show love to one another. God bless Nigeria. See you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye. This is the sleeve, and see how I stitch it on the right side to the hip. This is how the design is looking like, and the V-neck